Hey everyone, my name is Timothy Tobias, also known as Tim Lavin, or to those who know me from way back in the day, Tim Princess. Welcome to my live. This is another event discussion, very important discussion hosted by Ballroom We Care. Tonight, we bring you a gift. Yep, I said a gift. Overall, Mother Asia West is going to be speaking tonight, a one-on-one. She's going to share some of her experiences, some of her challenges, her thoughts, right, about her experiences in ballroom. And this will be moderated by Tabitha. So hold on to your seat because this is going to be a good one. Let me introduce my host, Tabitha, who will be facilitating this discussion. So Tabitha Gonzalez, a lot of us also know her as Tabitha Revlon. She goes by she, her, hers. Tabitha is an outreach specialist at Housing Works, providing prevention services to trans and MSM people of color. She's the president of the PGH LGBTQ Coalition, an advocacy group with a vision to develop outreach strategies and educational programs. And that's important. It's really important, y'all. Tabitha is also the director of Black Trans Services for the ZEP Wellness Center and a Black and queer led nonprofit mental health organization. Tabitha is also the co-founding member of the Trans Equity Coalition, which raised a historical, this is huge, $1.8 million, right, in city council funding for trans-specific initiatives. Tabitha also is featured in Trans New York, a book by Peter Bishon. I think I got that right. It dives into the lives of various trans people. Tabitha also served on the network advisory body. Sorry about that. As a co-chair of the TGNC Advocacy Committee and joined the New York City Census campaign to encourage marginalized communities to take the census. So Tabitha has been out there doing the work, y'all, and she's from our community, so she's one of us. She has worked with the deaf and hearing impaired community and is influent, and she's fluent, not influent. She's fluent in American Sign Language. Without any further ado, let me bring up our moderator, Miss Tabitha Gonzalez, also known as Tabitha Revlon. Welcome, Tabitha.
Hey Tim. Yes. Hi everyone. Welcome back to the show. I the last show that we had was so great that we noticed that it cut off fast and there was probably a lot of stuff that people needed to say and wanted to say. And we will get to each and every one of them. But, I felt it was important to further have this conversation individually. So therefore we can get more out of it and you can hear individually what each person is thinking. So I want to say thank you to Tim for continuing to hold this space. And as I mentioned, Tim, I want to tell you a little bit about Ballroom We Care. Ballroom We Care Inc. is a grassroots intervention that was created by for ballroom leaders, by and for ballroom leaders. Tim Lanvin, Uncle Mike Ebony, Luna Khan, and rest in peace to grandfather Hector Extravaganza. These are issues that was core to their heart, and they decided to come up with this way to inform, educate, and empower our community. In response to the crystal meth related deaths, they noticed that in the New York City ballroom scene, they noticed it there prevalently, and they wanted to try to take action to try to counter that and make sure that we were informed in harm reductive ways that our community will thrive. Today, Ballroom We Care provides support, education, awareness, and identify cultural competent resources to members in the ballroom community who are struggling with crystal meth, use crystal meth, or other forms of substance related to mental health. And today I'm going to share the stage and share the space with someone who I admire, someone who is more than just brains and more than just beauty. She's brains, she's intelligent, and she has a story to tell, more like a lot of us have a story to tell. And I want to be able to hold this space where we can share those narratives and speak about it in a way that impacts our community positively, and we can grow while honoring the intersectionalities of identity, be it trans feminine, cis gay men, cis women. Ballroom is the area where we celebrate each other and where we love on each other. Yeah, it's competition and we got some shit going on up in there. But more importantly, we're a community, and no community doesn't have that, right? So we want to educate ourselves because we know when we depend on others to tell our stories, it's not told accurately. So today I'm going to be joined with Asia West, and I'm going to read her bio very quickly because I got to give her her due diligence and give her her flowers. Asia West is Asia Snowden West is Brooklyn born and raised. She identifies as a black woman of trans experience. Asia is also legendary in the house and ballroom community. More importantly, she has earned her spot as the overall mother of the rising House of West. Now, how many of y'all gonna be at that West Ball this weekend? Asia has decided that she needs to live in her truth. Asia says that fighting for herself and people like her is and has been a lifelong journey that she doesn't regret. We are all worthy and deserving. So, for those under the sound of my voice, let's welcome to Share the Space, Asia West.
Hi,
Hey,
Sissy.
beautiful. I love you. You know I love
I
you.
love you, Sissy.
Okay, thank you again for saying, hey, I have some more I want to say, and I need to
Mm-hmm.
have that space. And I'm gonna always make sure that our voices are censored because it's important, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you one question. Why was it
Right.
important for you to participate in this panel?
This one tonight.
Hmm. And the ballroom
I just
media panel, yeah.
well, the first one that we had, I really wanted to be there because I have a lot of trans sisters and brothers, of people are part of the LGBT community that are in here to be able to tell their story when it comes to crystal meth and other drugs and stuff like that. So I wanted to be the voice for them. And for tonight, because it is ballroom, I wanted to use this platform tonight to talk more about the issues in ballroom, talk about um, issues with drug in ballroom, just in general. Like I just want to be, speak my mind and just because I feel like as a new leader, I don't want to, I don't want to. I don't want to not use my voice when I have a story to tell, you know?
Thank you, and thank you for saying that. And it is so important that your story is told because there are others who will see your story and be empowered because they're
Yes.
seeing you stand up. I love, you know how I'm crazy about the youth and the next generation and moving the next usher and the new leaders of the new school. And you are definitely prominent in that area. And you definitely have ladies who look up to you. Even my old ass self look up to you. So,
Well,
it's so great.
like, and to state us, it's like, I think in life, it's so dope to look up to each other. I think that is nothing wrong with it. No matter, like, it's like I have a niece of mine. I had that, like, I don't, like, she inspires me. Like, I think it's good to be around people that inspire you, that want to motivate you, that want to, I think that's amazing because in life, we're growing. Like, you always going to grow in life. You're never going to stop growing. As long as you're here on earth, you're always going to learn. It's always going to be something new that you learn different or just better just to grow. So I don't think nothing is wrong with that.
It's funny you say that. I was just saying that earlier about the importance of, we used to say these things like, girl, I'm the same. I don't change. I keep it a buck all the way. But if you're not changing, then you're not growing.
And
And
you're not
sometimes you have
humble.
to, right, sometimes you have to gravitate from those who you normally be with. And you start introducing yourself to new people, creating space for new opportunities. And sometimes it's those long-term friendships that resurface and kind of push you in the right direction. So when people
Right.
say, "Oh, Asia, you know what? You changing? You think you all that? Yeah, you're changing, and that's a good thing because no one is
I,
supposed to stay the same."
And you know what? I think I used to be the type that made sure I was trying to. I wasn't changing or trying to be everyone's friend or just trying to be this person or liked person, but I had to realize that I'm not for everybody and you're not going to get along with everybody and everybody's not for you. Some people are just not compatible in life and that's okay.
I love that. Um, so you said that you want to be the voice for others who probably can't speak. So the next question is: have you had any personal struggles or experience with substance use? And if not, then can
Yes.
you talk about what that looks like?
So, yeah, so when I was 16, I was hanging out. I was running wild. I was running wild. I was new to the scene. I was around the girls, bad bitches, I would say. And we got lit. And I was doing e-pills. I had got really, really I didn't really do the other drugs because they really wasn't for me. Nothing's wrong with that. I do not judge nothing. But when it comes to like partying at that time, um e-pills was definitely my thing. It was a party. It was party drug, and I love to party. Like I'm very shy and quiet, so I kind of use like I needed. Like I feel like in order for me to have fun around the people I was hanging around, I had to do a drug. So that was my drug of choice, and I didn't. I was young. I didn't have no one to say that's not cool, but I'll never forget the day that I was, mind you, to go back. I was strung out for 2 months. I would never forget the day that I was like a real bad. I had a real bad day. I mean, like I was on like 9 e-pills, like nine. And within 24 hours, and It was like 2 days later. I woke up. Being on them pills like that, you're hallucinating. You're paranoid to the max. So then, it was like, and mind you, my friends definitely remember this night. It was a really big, big, big thing. But to move forward, I think it was like the third day of me waking up. I looked in the mirror and I saw how I was looking, and I was just like, "Oh hell no, I look crazy." I was just like, "No, like this is not. I don't want to live like this." I literally called my this lady I was that I rented a room from before, and I was just like, "Hey, I want to rent another room," and she was like, "Okay, not a problem." So I had the money, and I literally packed my stuff. I took my little brother, and we left. We left because it was a bunch of girls. We was living together, and honestly, we was moving out anyway. It was time for us to move anyway, and we was gonna get another apartment together. But I knew that if I stayed on this lane, I was gonna continue to be that person of doing the drugs. And it's nothing. I don't judge no one, but that it wasn't for me because I saw something else for my life.
Thank you so much for answering it, and thank you for being vulnerable in this space. Um,
Yeah.
I too can share, that has been one of my struggles for a very long time. Like I say, always, I always lead with I'm Tabitha. I am a former sex worker, formerly incarcerated of 14 years, former substance abuse. And it was one of the most hardest struggles, because as being trans and transitioning and wanting to be socially accepted and be around people, it was almost like a rites of passage. Like
Hmm.
it kind of removed those inhibitions that would kind of make you feel shy, and you would just become bold and active and live, until we decide that we don't want to say that. And someone asks, like, how do you stop? And I
Yeah.
said, it's not it's good to stop, but I want to change the lens of it. You can do what you need to do until you stop. I started to say no
Yeah.
every day until I didn't have to say no anymore. And that's
Yeah.
how it worked for me. So I'm like you. I don't
Yeah.
judge. I think it's important that we have these conversations, because there are a lot of
Yeah.
people who won't have these conversations and will
Yeah.
suffer in silence. And we've been conditioned that way, to suffer in silence. And we don't have to, and we shouldn't have to. Not when we call ourselves a community, and not when we all have mutual respect for each other.
Yeah.
Do you think, and the next question, do you think substance use has increased or decrease for trans women during the time when we were under the pandemic? I say that because for a lot of us, we lost employment. We had to come up with money. We got to pay rent. Some of us chose our former form of employment, whether it was sex work, whatever. Like we made sure that we can maintain. We are resilient women, but at the end of the day, in regards to mental health and substance use, do you think that either increased or decreased during the pandemic?
I feel like it kind of decreased, and I'm gonna say why. because funds wasn't as like like as available for everybody. But I will say that's when a lot of people started to get off of it, started getting rehab, and started to kind of realize what was going on. I'm not saying that they completely stopped, no, but what I'm saying that it wasn't so much of everybody's doing it as it was like because before it was like a secret society type of thing. That drug specifically was a secret society. Like they didn't invite everybody because I just me hearing about it and learning about it. I noticed that like it was groups of people you would never know, and it was shocking. Like I remember, like people you will find out names, and you like, oh my gosh, like you would never know that this person was going through these things, but it was just shocking. And but I don't think that I think kind of to me it decreased to me during the pandemic, only during the pandemic.
All right. So for you, because I noticed that you refer, and I like that you keep it on the eye. For you, how did you cope during the pandemic, and what were some of your challenges?
I honestly, I don't know about anybody else, but that was the best time of my life. Like that's when I woke up and I was just like, "Bitch, I learned to love me." Like I really was like, I really fell in love with me. Like I needed that. I don't know if anybody else did, but that was that time that it was like I needed to love myself. In that moment, those 6 months, it was like, it was hard, but I learned to love everything about myself. I learned to accept my flaws, everything, like even my inner flaws, like and like everything. I was so happy. And that's how, like right now, I'm just a beaming light to myself. Like seeing me on YouTube, seeing me on just around people, I even seem more happier to myself. I notice how happy I am. And honestly, like the pandemic definitely I needed that for me. Like I needed it. Like I definitely needed that time.
And you know what? I echo that because one thing that I was determined to do, like I was not going to come out of it the same way I went in, right? Because change is inevitable. Inevitable. So I took a lot of trainings online. I was able to get re-enrolled in school. I was able to do a lot of stuff. So I too have a different lens and a different relationship with the pandemic. Was it hard to get money? Yes.
Yeah.
Was it a lot of running around? My experience was different because I wasn't using, but I do know that, I've had to help people navigate safe use,
Yeah.
and there has been like an increase and a decrease, but I know that in regards to challenges with mental health, that definitely increases because a lot of us were suffering from separation anxiety. We couldn't see our friends, we couldn't go out. I just went out this week with my nephew for his birthday, and I had the most fun I've had since I was 20 years old.
Yeah.
It just felt good to be alive again. Um, so I thank you for saying that and sharing that. And at some point, we all experience forms of trauma. Do you think there's a correlation between trauma and mental health?
Do you hear me, sis? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Do I think it's a what?
a correlation between trauma and mental health.
Um, definitely. A lot of times I notice that, I love to watch people. I learn by watching people, and I like coming from where I came from in life. I was locked up in my teenage years a lot. So just learning, I learned to know my surroundings, right? So I learned to absorb everything. So I watch something in people. A lot of times people become addicted to drugs, not just because of they want to be accepted, but because they don't want to see their flaws, like mentally, like they don't want to see the things that they go through on a daily basis. I know friends of mine that were waking up and taking a drug instantly. Like instantly, we're getting high, we're waking up because they couldn't cope with the things that they were going through on a daily basis. Like the things that they were going through, waking up just in general. They couldn't cope with that.
Gotcha, I heard you.
So I
So,
definitely that was something I definitely noticed. And I even for myself, it was like I wasn't I even for myself, I can put it to myself. It wasn't I didn't just do drugs because of I didn't know how to be open to others. I didn't know how to be open to others because of the shit that I've been through. So that was a flaw in within itself, you know?
Thank you. Thank you so, so, so much for, just like I said, for continuing to have this conversation. It's a lot. And you know, we put ourselves out there and we become vulnerable and we open ourselves up. And there are those of us who don't have the resources or the tools to actually talk about what they're going through. And that's we have all experienced a lot of death of all ages. Unfortunately, it seems like deaths are just continuing to occur in our community. What are some challenges that you think or barriers that you think that we may be experienced as a community that continues to force a narrative of stay quiet, don't talk about it, and we continue to lose people? What do you think is the root?
Healing. Like a lot of times we heal and we want to disappear. Like we forget that it's okay to help your people. Like I always like I learn from my nieces, I learn from my nephews, like in the community. I learn from people that I'm around. But I'm also teaching them things that I have been through. You know what I'm saying? And making sure they understand what's in front of them and their opportunities and what to do with them. You know, so I feel like a lot of times when a lot of us in the community we learn, we get better, we learn to love ourselves. We just start to move on from the scene because we know how negative the scene can be. But I think for me, I do love the scene. It was the first place that accepted me, regardless of what it did to me. It accepted me. I felt accepted regardless. So I'm always gonna have a soft spot for the scene, and I know that for me, I wish it was others like myself to guide me in different positions. So I'm definitely gonna be that person to others, as far as like making sure that it's kind of like guiding them in the right places.
So, question you, and I just want to unpack that just a little bit more. When you said that you still have love for Ballroom, even after what they've done to you, what are
So I
some of the
can't say
things?
what they. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
What are some of the things that you face as a woman of trans experience in the Ballroom community?
Sometimes they hold us to like they don't like sometimes they don't think that we're real people. Like it's kind of like that we go through things mentally. Like it's kind of like they put us here, but don't understand that we sometimes are going through things. Like sometimes like we just like you, we're human. Like a lot of times they put us in a box and don't understand that we make mistakes, we cry, you know, we may look ugly today, you know, like just certain things that we go through. Sometimes they hold us to a place where it's like, damn, like I get that, I love that you put me in this position, but understand that I'm human. Like I'm human, and like they put us in so many boxes, and a lot of times we as trans girls, we got so accustomed to that we keep ourselves in that box, and I'm not with none of that for me.
I love that. I
Like
love that. Thank
I
you.
refuse to be in a box. If you don't like I'm now like I don't care if you don't like me. Like I really don't. Like I was that person that I wanted to be liked by everyone because of what I went through and growing up before I met the scene, you know. So I always wanted everyone to like me, but it's like now I learned in life that everybody's not gonna y'all. It's two different energies, two different people. It's not, you know, y'all not compatible. Like she can't love you or he can't love you the way that you need to be loved as a friend, and that's the, you know, vice versa. So
Thank you.
yeah,
I love it. I love it. And like, see, what people don't know is that we have these organic conversations even off the screen. So when
yeah,
you're talking to
definitely,
me, it's just like it's so natural. And I just want to say thank you for continuing to hold this space and have these conversations because it is super, 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 super needed. In
yes,
the previous show, we have talked a lot about stigma, shame, judgment associated with substance use and mental health in our community.
right.
Can you talk a little bit about like what does that mean to you when we hear the word stigma? Because for me, like I was talking with another service provider, me being ballroom and being a service provider, most of the time I'm taking care of, and I love to do it because it's my community. But a lot of times, more often than not, when we have members in our chapters who are or in our house who are dealing with substance use, who are dealing with mental health, they may not feel comfortable coming to like a Asia or someone because of a status, because you're iconic or legendary. So they use like the backdoor policy. They ask their girlfriends to ask a girlfriend to ask a girlfriend to get service from someplace else, right? The stigma that's placed on substance use and mental health. What would it look like if we remove that, right? And our house members are able to talk to us and we're able to navigate them. What would that look like? For you, like what would that look like? Because I know a lot of times I didn't want to tell nobody when I was running. I didn't tell nobody. Like we couldn't talk about that shit. Like
Yeah.
you was supposed to be kept a secret. You ain't supposed to be caught out there. But I wish that I had the opportunity to tell people what I was going through. What do you think that stems from?
It stems from hurt. Like we're a community of hurt people. So that if that was removed, honestly, I would say it would be even better. But because of what we went through, it's gonna take us time to heal. It's gonna take us time as a community to heal together, and accountability. Like to me, accountability is the number one thing to me. And being in a community where 80% have been through some crazy stuff, we're hurt people. So what hurt people hurt people. So of course you can't trust somebody that's hurting because they don't even care about themselves. So how can they care about you? And I'm not
Exactly.
saying that like you really can't get upset at that. You just have to know how to play your cards. Like as far as like for me, like I have my core group of friends and I have real close friends that's in the scene. But I also know what the scene is, and I know I can't trust someone that's hurting or that's mentally going through some things because they potentially could harm me. Because every day when they wake up, they're potentially harming themselves. They don't make the right decisions. For me, I wasn't making the right decisions at times, but I definitely was aware of my surroundings, and I take accountability for any and every situation that I go through. You
Thank
know,
you. Thank you for that. What was the biggest lesson that you learned? Like, okay, so now we're coming out, right? People are getting vaccinated. We're going back into the ballroom. We're getting becoming more social in the sense. What was the biggest lesson you've learned during the pandemic?
the biggest lesson to love yourself. That like being alone, like really, like I don't know, like I hope that everyone took that time because it was a certain time that and the pandemic for I think like 3 or 4 months we couldn't go outside really, especially in New York. We couldn't go outside, basically to the store and back. So you couldn't go see your girlfriend. You can be on the phone, you can be on Bigo, but you couldn't literally be by with your girls or your friends like next to each other, you know? So being by yourself, it was kind of like I had to and yeah, you had to really get comfortable with everything.
Right.
Everything. You can't hide from nothing within yourself. Every demon that you faced, everything was you had to literally face that. You had to.
You had to. I know I did. Lord have mercy. But thank God I had my crazy husband to go crazy with me. So
Hmm.
when I know that you talked a lot about while you was in the scene, so I want to just take it back just a little bit, if you will. How did you get into the scene, introduce into the scene, and how does that tie into some of the struggles before ballroom?
Mm. So, as well as other LGBT community, I got into the scene because I came into a place called Gramercy, which is a LGBT. Well, it was a gay and trans community, a group home basically in Manhattan. And even though I was in New York, I'm from New York, but my community wasn't walking up in my face. If they were trans, you didn't know. Like back in the day, you had to be like back in the day, the girls you probably didn't would never know that this person was trans because you had to that was your protection. Your realness was your protection. So I see, the LGBT community within there and I met some of the legends and icons that are part of the scene now in the group home and I saw them dancing, I saw them performing and I was just like me growing up in dance it was it was like an instant connection. It was like, oh my gosh, like what they were doing was so amazing. Like it was like and what was important to me was different then and what's different from then it was they were telling their story. Like and that's why I always say you can't really teach someone how to vogue. You're vogue. because your Vogue is your story, it's your pain, it's your cries, it's your love, it's your sex, it's whatever. Like you really can't teach that. Like you can't. Like no matter what, you can kind of resemble somebody within a catwalk or a shimmy that they do, but when you perform,
It's
that's
different.
yours. Because it's your story. It's kind of like I can't. I don't even want to tell you that. I don't want to show you my performance. I don't want to show you that. That's mine. That's personal for me. Like I was dancing. I was performing when I was hurting, when I was crying, when I felt peace. Like that was my escape. So I know from other girls or just other people in the LGBT community, that's how I got connected to it. It was like I saw their stories and it was yeah, I fell in love and that's how I got connected to the book.
Thank you so much. Now I know early on when we first had the pre-talk, I asked you if you had any questions for me to ask me. So I want to create a little pocket that if you have questions for me, you can ask me. Because I'm asking
Okay.
you a lot of questions and it seemed unfair. So,
No, you can ask whatever you want to. You got we
uh,
both kind of you asked me a question, but you answered me the question for yourself too. So it's kind of like you asking yourself too.
like we
So it's
always
good.
are.
Yeah, a good conversation.
For me, it's I felt the same way, right? Like a lot of people will be seeing me and they're like, "You look just like your mother," or "You Vogue like Letitia." I do. She has influenced me. But if you pay close attention, my story and the way I perform is entirely separate. It looks familiar because you're used to the crashes and that, and, the prototype. I grew up under her elbow. So it was like I learned from her, you know. So you can't teach no one your story. Your story is your own. Your narrative is your own. And I try to
Yeah.
tell people that all the time. When you control your narrative, because we say that a lot, but when you access your power, your authenticity, your history, you own that.
It's
You
yours.
need that. And no one else can remix it, have agency over it, or tell you how to best represent it. So I know that you had a question, and I know that you have posed a question. And for everyone under the sound of my voice, I want to open this up to you, Asia, so you can ask your question. And I want you guys to think about exactly what she's saying because it
Yeah.
resonated with me so deeply that it needs to be said here. So,
Yeah.
what was that question that you said the other day?
So my question, and I'm gonna break it down so y'all can really understand the question. So the question I asked was, why do we give away our history so easily? And I'm not talking about to codes to legendary. I'm talking about just in general where we don't respect our history. It's kind of like even forgot about, like kind of even disrespected. It's kind of like for me, I I saw what the people before me were doing, and I saw their stories, which influenced me, which made me feel amazing to be a part. I respect them on a whole nother level because when I saw them perform, whether it was face, whether it was sex siren, whether it was realness, whether it was performance, I saw them out there telling their story, living their truth, feeling sexy, feeling confident, feeling beautiful. And I respected them on a whole nother level. It was like in awe. And I'm always going to. And I just feel like sometimes as a community, we give that away so easily. Like, yeah, we don't care about y'all anyway. Like, it's just, here y'all go. So as a community, I want like this question to all of you guys in the comments or whatever. If you can just ask yourself, why do you give away our history so easily?
And I want to just jump on the back of that just a little bit because I say that in regards to like you said the people who you saw perform and the people who were before you and you were just like so like empowered and you wanted to get out there and tell your story, right?
Right. Uh-huh.
And I believe in our conversation we were talking about when the girls fall or when they fall off. You know, when you came out and you saw these girls, they were the it girls. Can you name a few of those girls who kind of like, you know, did it for you?
Like, when I came out, it was all of them equally in their own way. Like when I all of them. Like when I literally met them in person, that's why I always say Soul Queen performance is different That's why I came up with what I came with when it comes a description for the West Ball. Um, because Femme Queens is not sexy. It's not just sexy. It's not just soft and kind. It's not just dramatic. It's you, and it's your. It's like a confidence. It's like a confidence that can't be taught, that can't be brought. It's something from within. And literally, when I met Tanaya, I'm never like she was just in the back. She had cornrows to the back. She had a white beater on, some True Living jeans. She was at the clubhouse on 122nd. She was standing in front of the mirror, and she was just like in that mirror, this confidence that she was in the mirror, just selling it to herself, just like to the beat, like just feeling it. And the Butch Queens were just watching her. I saw
Yes.
Mercedes. I saw Mercedes Prodigy. Um, and these are legend icons. I saw these girls. I saw her at the clubhouse. And she had like a crop top black shirt, some low rise black jeans. The body was sickening. The face was just beautiful, and she had like the Tony Braxton like the lay down hair. And I was just in awe, like the confidence, like it was energy for me. It was always just the freaking energy. When I had met Mika, it was like a glowing, it was like this energy that they had that no one else and it would be her or this person, and it would be a full, you would literally, they can be quiet and you can see them, you can spot them in a room full of people without
Yes.
them even talking. It was just this energy that I could not explain. And I think that we are also starting to lose that within our scene. And it's not to take away from our butch queens, our cisgender women, our trans men, but I think that it helped our scene. That was something that we had that no one else in all other communities had. And I think I just sometimes I get so upset that we're losing that because I don't think the scene understands how important that was. We had our own celebrities, our own queens, our own everything, and it's just like whatever. But yeah, like I saw all of them. Honestly, was Deja, it was Mika, it was Sanaya. Even when I saw Amina come down, it was at the. I had got my tens. Mind you, it was so dope because out of all my generation, I was the only one that got tens. I will never forget this night. It was for $500. It was at the Icon Ball, and we all had to come in pink. And Amina came out with this thigh-high patent leather black boot, and she had like a pink two-piece outfit on. This lady, when she was voguing, it was like, cause that was one person that I loved watching when I was young. Like, it was just like her confidence. It was like this energy she did when she performed. It was just like this. It was like this pop and everything. It was just so beautiful. But she vogued that night, and I was just sitting on the side after getting my tens, like just amazed. I was just taking it all in. I loved every piece of it. I loved it.
Thank you so much. And speaking from yourself, and if you would be so inclined, right? Because it's something that you said that resonates so much to me.
Hmm.
There's a power and an allure that women in ballroom have. That's a
Hmm.
pull. Because I saw that you said those light in those things. But also that light is on you, right? People look to you when they see you. They can see, hey, that's Asia, right? And there are those people when they place us on the pedestal and then they snatch the cheek from up under us and they place us in these competitive arenas where we don't get as close as like the conversations that me and you have, or Monique, me and Monique, or Nicole Bowles, or some of the other girls that have, right? And for me, it's important that we bring that back, right? Um, when you came out, right, how was the woman in ballroom treated versus how it is today?
Like respected, well respected, not just on the pedestal, but it was their women. Like those are our queens, and we have to protect them. Like we have to protect them, we have to love them, and we have to honor them. There were even butch queens investing into the girls, into their look. Like I was sitting on the panel one time, and there was this icon. I'm not gonna say his name. It's my uncle, mind you. He said, "Where are the femme queens? Where are the girls?" And I'm in my head. I'm like, y'all know where they at. They're home, and the girls that you want to be around. y'all don't even show them how it's supposed to be done. Y'all read the new girls, y'all make fun of them, and y'all don't teach them. See, the funny thing to me is, and people didn't understand and realize this in the ballroom scene, people say it was the femme queens. It really was the butch queens. The butch queens were a lot of the times the reason why the girls felt the way they felt, because you had a group of butch queens around every girl, making them feel amazing, making them feel beautiful even when they didn't feel it. It was times that I was out and the butch queens that I was around, thank God, they made me feel amazing. They made me feel like I was the baddest thing ever walking. Now they pushing the girls aside. It's like, bitch, get out my way.
They beating
It's
you up.
like
They beating you up.
it,
They outing you. They doing all types
they
of shit. But
they they out with you, and also this. And I love my cisgender women, but it's also the cisgender women. They it's like, because it's, it was a few in the scene, it was here and there, but because it was so many, and so like just a lot of girls, like a lot of women coming into the scene now. It's kind of like, well, we don't need that no more. We have women now, even to the point where you see femme queen. Why is a femme queen battling a cisgender woman for performance? I don't get that. And the reason I say I don't get that, yes, both are women, but you're judging them differently. You would sit here and judge this woman's performance. First of all, she would eat one time, but she's not hitting a beat. She's falling out of her dip. She's doing all of these things, but that's femme queen that is walking. You want her to make sure she's hitting this. She has to look really nice. She has to hit beat by beat, and she has to make her dip. If she don't, she gets chopped. But the cisgender woman, she will come out and get tens like a virgin. And then you want me to battle her? And because she finally did a nice dip, she sits me down when from A to B, I just bowled this lady into a circle. I did every element. I hit every beat, but because she had a little bit more, maybe a little bit more spark, or maybe like she did a windmill in the air and fell out of the dip, but she still got the girl. This is why it's like femme queens are not appreciated anymore. These young girls, they get thrown to the side.
that hurts
It's
my heart.
crazy.
It hurts my heart, and that's why, like, I always try to hold space
Mm.
for our younger women and even our men, because you know what? To be fair, like, it's not always a negative thing where they're disrespecting us. Sometimes we can be a little bit disrespectful, and we need to do
No,
better.
definitely,
We
definitely.
need
But
to
I
do
think
better
like
as a we need to do better
definitely,
as a community. We need to
definitely.
hold our kings accountable, and they need to hold their queens accountable. We need
Yes,
to
Butch Queen. I
explain.
always
Yeah,
say Butch Queen and Femme Queens go together like white on rice. It's
this
no shade.
we need
Without
to
you can't do nothing without either. Honestly,
right. So some people would think that the differentiation between women's performance and female trans woman performance, they're voguing from a story of a lived experience where a woman is more of an entertainer. That's just one perspective. I don't fully subscribe to that, but there's many different variations, and I don't want the competition to be. I don't want this conversation to be like us versus them or them versus us, because it's not that we're all one, but there
no,
needs.
but we're also Femme Queens talking, and it's like, no, I'm gonna say what I gotta say. Like you gotta like no shade. Like I'm sorry. Like no
I love
shade. I'm
you.
sorry. Like it's no shade. Like I'm not gonna
You know
stop
me.
talking because you feel
I
uncomfortable.
always
Like
try to be. I always try to be right. Try to
no,
be
I'm not.
fair. But see, and just so you guys
Mm-mm.
watching, this is how our conversation always go. She will challenge me to think further than just trying to be neutral and just hit the hard facts. And that's
Be
why I
honest, like
appreciate you
you
so
gotta,
much.
because it's like honest and truth. I can at first, like I said before, accountability. That's the number one thing, and people don't understand that when I say like accountability. Like, how dare you try to push me to the side because he's like, no, we've been here. You go like we need each other for our scene. It's our history. It's in the history. You can't remove us. You cannot replace us. If you do, the scene is not going to be comfortable for you neither.
I think
Honestly,
we
if
need.
you look around, we need each other. Butch Queens need femme queens need butch queens. Simple. I'm sorry.
Okay. Are y'all offended by the term queen as opposed to trans woman? So this is the part where I'm going to take a couple of questions, and I'm going to read Dwight's. Are y'all offended by the term femme queen as opposed to trans woman?
No. For me, no, because to understand, like, if you understand what a femme queen is, you would never want to feel upset about being called that. That's confidence. That's beauty. That's the bitch that is the light in the motherfucking dark room. So
I got you. You're muted. It muted you. No. No, I think when they called you, they interrupted your connection. If you want, you could come back, and I'm going to repeat the question. You could come out and come back in because we only have a few more minutes, but I definitely have a couple of more questions I want to ask you. Can say something so I can hear you. Can y'all
hello,
not? There you go.
hello.
Can y'all
Okay.
not? Yeah. Can y'all not call her while she online?
Yeah. No, that was my son. That was my son. I'm sorry. That was my son. But so I feel like when it comes, like I was saying before, like I am a woman. I know what I am on a day to day, but when I get up in my girl, when I come out, that is my femme queen. That is an energy. It's not an everyday thing. It's a vibe. It's an energy. It's a mood. It's an individual. It's something that you turn on and you can easily turn off. But you have to like as a trans woman. Every trans woman is not a femme queen, and that's okay. It's just something that everyone is not gonna have. It's just some. It's an energy. It took me a very long to understand that. A
Thank
very
you.
long time to understand that. And that's not meaning that you're less than anything. It's just meaning that you don't have what maybe that girl might have. And that's okay. Because you're amazing too. Everyone is amazing.
Right. And if I wish I could have went back and read what Tony said. I think Tony and you both hit it on the head. Thanks, Miss Rice. I think that was like so great. There's so many things I have in my head that I want to say. She says no, but Film Queen is a ballroom term. Outside of that is
It
our
is.
actual identity, woman of trans experience.
Yes.
Because when I grew up, I didn't grow
Exactly.
up wanting to be a film queen. For me, I grew up because I wanted to be a woman, and that's who I am today.
Hmm.
And I turn on my film queen, you motherfucking right, bitch. I'm Tabitha Revlon. But and
Yeah.
everyday life, I navigate safely as who I am, Tabitha Gonzalez. And it is a thing that you turn on and off, but only few of us do have it. And I'm seeing Marquis saying, bring back true gentlemen. In order for that to happen, the real woman needs to stand up as well. So I just want to be clear. While we want to bring back our voice,
You can't. You can't. No, you can't. You can't. You can't do that. So you're doing that again.
I have to,
Okay.
sis.
Like I'm
I have
not
to.
saying
I have to,
no
sis.
because it's like I
So,
get.
so let me
I
ask
get.
you
I
this.
get it. I get it. Yes, I get
So let
it.
me just say this, right? For me, I come from a core that you teach people how to treat you, right? And sometimes if you have a man who grew up around only men and he had no female presence, like maybe he didn't get along with his mother, or maybe he don't got sisters. I think it's us as a responsibility to educate our young kings and our kings on how to treat us. You know, I think
You
that's something
can.
that we
You
need.
can. You a
We
girl trans.
can.
A girl, how can a hurt girl tell a man how to treat her when a nigga that with the guy that she's dating is beating on her?
We're not
Like you
talking
can't.
about
That's
that.
something that you can't. That's something that you don't. No, but no, we are because these are girls that go home and get beat on, or
Okay.
these are girls that go home and get cheated on, or just in general. Like regardless, like I'm saying, to me, when it comes to gentlemen in the scene, there's been gentlemen in the scene. Like there are film queens in the scene that taught me how to teach my sons how to teach girls. It's before us. No, but it comes before us. It's like a cycle down. I can't a young girl that's 16, 18, she can't teach no man how to be a
No,
gentleman.
no, no, no.
She
When you say
can't teach a
it
man
that
how to treat
way,
her.
when you say it that way, it's true. And that which is going to lead to my next statement. As women, we need to be building up each other. And we need to remove those things that people will have us be in competition with us. Because, like you said, you learn from the older girls and now you pass it down. And now you know. Because for me, for someone who's young and in development, they could be misled. I think that's how I got misled. I got introduced to drugs. I got introduced to a lot of stuff because I was young and I didn't know myself. It starts with self healing. It starts with knowing yourself and being able to actually verbalize your wants, your needs, and be able to express that in a way that people will pick up on and they will understand. I come from that. I I will teach you how to treat me right away. And if any, and because I know who I am today,
I would,
go ahead. Asia, go ahead. You know how we do. Go ahead.
huh?
Go ahead. You have something to say?
Oh no, I was about to just reply to something that you were saying. I told you just even. But I feel like just like being in the scene, like a lot of time, like people say, we can't compete, we can't do the competition thing. But that's what the scene is. There
No,
is a
I'm not talking
competition.
about that. Mm-mm.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not talking
Oh.
about in the scene. Our community was like, listen, for me, I have a different relationship with Ballroom. It was for us to exhibit our talent, leave it on the floor, and have friendly competition. Family versus family, all of that. At the end of the day, it wasn't about fighting. You got chopped, you left, you came back, you put at the next ball. Rivalries was created, and that's what made the scene hot. You
So
was looking.
can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a
Yeah.
question? Or
Uh-huh.
like I know you are teaching your kids to do that. But my thing is, and this is my question to the audience, that's
Oh, we lost her. They is not gonna let you up, mommy. The kids are calling you. You said this.
hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is a question to all the icons, even some of the legends, guys. Are you teaching your kids? Like, are you like, why are you teaching your kid? I forgot what I was about to even say because he just told me. What was he talking about before? I'm sorry, y'all.
No, that's fine. We were talking about how, it's easy, like it's for us to pass these traditions down to each other and to teach each other and inform. But and you said, I know that you're telling the kids up under you that. But and I think what you were going to say is, what are the other leaders and
Oh, okay.
icons?
Say other right. They like I wanted to say I was telling my friend like my thing is you're an icon, you're a legend, and they like being an icon and being a legend. What are y'all doing with your icon status? It's like what are y'all like to me? It's like a lot of times they like out of 100, 5 would stay in the scene, and those 5 would be toxic. Like I'm not saying all the icons in the scene, but a lot. Meaning that they stay in the scene and they kind of do the same shit that they was doing when they was young in the scene. Like no one is actually teaching and showing the younger kids. Not all. If the shoe do not fit, please don't put your foot in it. I'm talking about the people that it like. I'm talking about the people that I have seen that I can say that. What are you doing? And I'm meaning that they're not teaching the younger generation to do better. They're not really showing the younger generation how it's supposed to be done. You expect me as a young as I'm 18, I'm in the scene, I just started walking. You expect me to know these things? Like I had Champagne showing me things. Like Champagne showed me the tapes. She showed me things, the history. I knew history because of her. She's an icon. Like I learned because of the girls or the people that was around me. I learned my history. I knew how to respect the people before me. I knew how to feel it, be in competition mode, but also leave that shit on the floor. I knew to do those things. There's no like, what's going on? Where are the people teaching others?
It takes a lot. And so here's what I'm going to say to that. More often than not, those are the ones who are behind the scenes. Those are not the mothers because they want a trophy mother. They want to highlight those who are on the floor. I love to be behind the scenes. I love to do what I need to do for the members in my house and members of other houses. That's just how I am. I'm comfortable there. But to be honest, I don't think this scene recognizes those. And if they are doing the work, they're not brought to the forefront and they're not
Well,
acknowledged.
no, we don't need to. We don't need. It's not. That's not your purpose.
No,
Your purpose
understand,
is not to
understand what I'm
be.
saying.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm saying.
No,
Like
I
someone,
heard you.
no, here's what I'm saying. Like someone like me, I'm not always on the floor, but what I do is off the floor, right? So check it,
Right.
right? So now I come to the house. I'm talking to a new person. I'm trying to instill the, and they're going to go off of what the legend is saying because they're legend, bitch. I'm going to go with such and such. Pay what Miss Thing. Miss Thing don't even walk. She don't even do this. She don't even do that. And these are things that kind of stop the growth. Or she's trying this. She's an older girl. She doesn't like me because I'm young. I'm fun, and all these barriers that happen. We can't act
Okay.
like it doesn't
And
exist.
and 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 there's no shade. If you would give that, Where's your boys at? Don't ever come up and disrespect that lady. She's going to teach. She's going to show you things. If you don't like it, you can leave the scene. This is our lady. This is our person. And that's my problem. It's kind of like, when did the scene become pussy?
And see, and
Like,
like that.
back in the day, when I'm so happy that I got the intel of it, like, and got to understand what it is, because I learned from the people I was around. You can't even come up and approach them. Now you can walk up to the panel. You can probably throw a bottle. You can snatch a wig off.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
it's like, like, and answer that, to say something, no shade, something to you, Monique, says, I don't think it's hard. What I think is hard is that a lot of the icons, they become, it's not fun for them anymore, so they don't care about it. Because when it was fun, the teaching and the learning, it was easy because it was fun to you to be a part of the scene. For me, being a part of the scene is my fun for me. It is my escape from my regular day life. It is, I do like to compete. I do like to get dressed up, dolled up, and look nice and be around the scene. That's what I like to do. That's how some people like to buy cars. They like to go on vacation. I like to walk balls. I like to be a part of the scene. That's what I like to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think a lot of times the icons, they give up where they started. And I get it sometimes, but it's just like, we need you. Like, we definitely need you. Like, especially the new leaders, we need your help to guide these young kids. And because you come back, these young kids don't know you. You come back and want roses that they're not throwing at you because they don't know you. These icons, they get upset like, oh, they don't care, they don't know. Of course they don't know you. There's no VHS no more. YouTube is not, they don't really got those clips like that of the old girls other than voguing. They don't have that anymore. So your presence, honestly, they don't really know it. So you can't get upset for the younger generation for not throwing flowers at you. Now you leave the scene. Step up. Step up. Like, step up. It's easy. It's easy to step up. You've already been there. It's hard for the kids to do that. It's easy for you because you already been there. But again, I'm not saying that it's all the icons. There are some amazing icons out there. There are some amazing leaders, and not just icons. There's amazing young leaders that are teaching kids, like Marquise, like you, like there are a lot of icons, a lot of young leaders. There are a lot of legends. There are a lot of statement stars that are teaching, that are trying to absorb that energy and show others. There's a lot of that, like a lot. But what I'm talking about is the bigger picture here. We are losing our scene, not because of the outside. It's because of the people who are just like, whatever. It's whatever. Like, they literally hand you a legendary status like it's nothing. Like, I'm confused. Is there something else is there like a board? It's like, this is like, legendary became like a graduation.
Monique.
How somebody that disappeared longer than they was walking is legend? I'm confused. Like, it's just like, how can this person, like, for me, I'm never battling someone that I don't think is legend. If that person on the mic don't know your name, don't know your history, I'm not battling you. I'm sorry.
I respect that. I also respect everyone under the sound of my voice who is asking questions. I'm sorry, I will not be able to get to all of them, but your opinion is valid, and that's why we're having these conversations. And I hope, it is my hope, that you leave this live, continuing these conversations with your house members, with your community, because we are a community. And I wish that there was a gentleman who said something about teaching his kids, and I can't find his statement, but it was just so true. And I don't think it's about
Can I answer these questions?
I don't think.
Can I answer these 2 questions?
Okay, yeah. Wait a minute, just very quickly. Dave Harvin. As a father, I taught my children how to carry themselves in the scene. I'm not the trophy father, although I win trophies. I teach my kids how to be responsible in and out of the scene. See, that's an innate thing. That's something that was born to me. And like you said, you told it, I do that with my kids. Like, I make sure that my kids know it's important. but that's something that comes, right? It's not about being responsible for teaching. It's having the desire to make sure that your next generation flourishes. So it's not about a responsibility. It's more about you wanting to do it because you want the best for yourself and for others. Go ahead, Asia. Answer the questions.
To answer your question, Prince J, um, I'm not talking about just being kind. I'm talking about learning your history, respecting the icons and the people that are still there, and being like as a young, like, say if I was, just getting out this, I didn't get a chance to see what was before me. How would I learn my history, Prince? Like, how, if there's nobody there to show me my history, how would I learn that? You can't just open a book and learn about the history. A ballroom. We don't have that. You learn from the people before you. Like that's what that is. It's not about being kind. It's not about, and honestly, everybody don't know how to be kind. And that's not everybody's story. Everybody don't come from a mother and a father that told them that they love them. Everybody come from different backgrounds, and that's what the scene is full of. The scene is definitely full of hurt people. So honestly, there's a lot of kids that I didn't come from that. I definitely didn't come from a family that taught me how to love others or myself. I had to learn that. And there's another question I want to add.
This is great.
Somebody said, I agree with people should want to know where they come from as well. Yeah, some people, we all should want to know that, but some people don't, because it's not really, it don't mean nothing to them. Some of them, a lot of kids are walking balls now because of, it's, voguing. They want to vogue, or they want to get booked. So that, honestly, that's why that's where, or it's, oh, he's cute, I'm gonna go over there, or it's like a celebrity world. It's not an escape for some people now, because back in the day, most of the LGBT were getting kicked out of their homes. Now, a lot more parents are accepting, so they don't care to respect you no more, because they have their mother, they have their father at home now. They can stay. Their mothers and fathers are coming to the balls now with them. So it's like the respect that they have for you, it really has to
Whoa,
be earned.
whoa. I gotta read this. I'm sorry. Whoa, Monique, I love you. Um, Look how they did the
No
girls after
shade.
they beat them up. I watched so many girls die lonely after giving up so much to the scene. And I'm not gonna say names because this is, and I'm gonna try to get through this without crying.
Well, while you take a breather, I want to respond to that. Um, I have seen, that was one of the reasons that kind of inspired me to love myself, because, and not just love
Ooh,
myself, but to have a core group of friends that genuinely love me,
oof.
because the scene will really bring you up and leave you there. To some people, the scene is all they had. So they came there to get the love that they wasn't getting at home. They weren't getting from boyfriends, nowhere else. So when they was in the scene, it was kind of like, this is all I got. And then it's like you took it from them.
It's
They
not
didn't
even
know how
so
to
much.
cope without it. No, they
I
did. They
would,
took it from, like, just imagine getting hugs every day from these people that don't know you, and they saying, I love you. So you come back to the scene and you getting none of that. It's cold turkey.
let me say this, right? And that's the fucked up thing, right? Because there's two people today, two girls today, right here in our neighborhoods and probably in yours. And when they were out on that floor performing, shaking their booty, rolling around, giving you sex siren, giving you look after look after look, they was the it girl. You was there. You was there for the shit. You was boosting them, and the minute they did something that went left, or they got introduced to substance, or they went to jail, then they're forgot about. You're on to the next it girl. It's almost like you were saying, like how they don't treat us like we're human. You know, they don't treat us like we're human. Where are we when like Monique said, where's the scene when the girls need them? Where's the scene when our brothers need you? Because we have to figure out, where are we missing the mark? Why are we not available to the same people who was just we was living for today? Tomorrow they fall and it's like, girl, you heard what happened to such and such? You know, all these people who are dying in silence, and we'll see them in the street, And we'll walk by them and we'll rather take pictures of them, take pictures with them, and then talk about them as opposed to giving them resources or trying to help them get it. And when they become a burden, we don't want them. But as long as you pay your $40 and you roll around on this fucking floor and you get on that stage and you lip sync till you die, we're gonna live for you. And that's how it happens. But it not only treats us like that, we have to figure out, for me, we have to figure out what is the disconnect with service to our community. Because we're more than just entertainment. We're more than just talent. We are people. We have doctors in our community. We have social workers in our community. We have healers and educators in our community. Why are we not utilizing that and taking us and incorporating ourselves and making people come to us? Not giving our shit away for free, but making them pay and pouring these resources into our own. There should be no way while some of our icons and legends are walking down the street right now with no support, dying in silence. That is unacceptable. But at the end of the day, it is a part of ours. It's a part of our narrative, right? And some people
They
say
get
that's
used up like a
Yolanda's
cigarette.
story. Huh?
Deja,
They use us up like a cigarette. And it's true.
Deja. A
It's
lot of
true.
girls, a lot of girls, a
Right.
lot. I can go down the line, like a lot of girls, and like I always, for me, as being an overall mother, I'm gonna do my part. Any icon, Hall of Famer that has came their way, I'm going to make sure that they always get respect from my house. They always get the love and support, and I don't play that. I'm sorry, I can't, like I can't. But I gotta go this.
No, listen,
But
I just got one more question because I know you was out of here at 8. So you were talking about your vote, right? So
mhm,
when you vote, right?
mhm,
And I want you to
mhm,
just, I really want you to tell this because only you can tell it. What is your
right.
story? What is Asia's
No,
story when Asia performs?
it's the opposite of me on a day to day. But I'm so connected to it now. Like I can read you my book now. Before I didn't know how to tell. Before I didn't know how to tell you my story. I just know how to show it. But it's a person. It's a Jessica Rabbit. It's a Marilyn Monroe type of sexy energy of a love making of that's who I am. I just like to feel good and I like to lay around. I like to just it's like a cat. I'm a cat. Like that's me, you know?
So y'all know me, right? I'm going to sit here and I'm going to say the right thing. This woman has came and shared her story. Any one of you under the sound of her voice who was touched by this or by affected by this, she has a beautiful ball that's coming up this week. Help her, give her
Yes,
her
I want to
flowers.
say something.
Wait, give her her flowers. She's gonna put her cash app on her page, $5, $10. Make sure she get that. Show her your love because this is one of the women who came forth. This is the new generational leader. This ain't one of this is the new girl that's
Don't
getting
let
the work. Stop. Don't because I want to
I
give
want
you
to
flowers. I want to give you your flowers. I am
no,
over.
I want to like I those people honestly like this weekend that coming up it means so much to me because the ballroom scene means so much. So I want you guys to come out regardless of what you feel about a person, you don't like a person, come out and tear them on the floor. Come out, make a moment, have fun. Let's bring ballroom thing back to when it was about moment. It was about fun. Regardless if you see that girl or not, come get her. Come get your piece or boy, whoever. Everybody is welcome. It's good. It's gonna be nothing but good energy, good vibes. We are not tolerating no negative energy. It's no shade. This Saturday in North Carolina, the House of West, we have an amazing ball. It starts at doors open at 1 o'clock. So definitely come prepared, look nice. Come, if you walk in, come enjoy yourself. And if you are standing on the side and they are calling people out, make sure you stand up. If they're calling them out for LSS, that means they did what they needed to do to come to get called out. Stand up, applaud them, show love. And honestly, like don't send me nothing. Send that money that you wanted, that you were saying cash app. Send that to the people that you know are going through it right now. Send
Oh,
that to them. Like Just
Oh,
even if it's $5 or $1, that you know that even if they don't tell you, you can feel it or you see it. Be there for them. Hug on them, love on them. Like they're your friends. Like love on them, show them love. Just
well,
a
you
five,
know
even
what?
if it's 5 seconds, it's okay.
You know what, Asia? I love you. You know I love you. You know I'm crazy about you. And I
I
thank
love
you
you
for
too,
sharing this
Sissy.
space. I love you for sharing this space, for coming on. We're going to say goodbye, but I want you to just know this
Yes,
from me to you, that you are loved, you are valued, and your life matters. And I thank you for continuing to have this conversation. I thank you for all you do for me and for others. And all roads point to West. I see you there. Bye bye, Asia.
yes. Nothing but the best. Later. Mm.
All right, guys. So thank you all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Of course, Tim is going to close us out, but I just want us to just pause for a minute and just, put some hearts on her page. Even if you're not going to send a cash app, let her know that you appreciate her coming on, telling her story, sharing her space with you, and informing you on her thoughts and ballroom. We'll have some more conversations coming up. I see that a lot of you have a lot to say. You can DM me or DM Tim and see if you can get space, and we will definitely create that space for you to come on and for your story to be told too. Go ahead, Tim. Okay, I guess Tim is not ready yet.
Sorry, I was reading some of the comments.
It was good. This was
Yeah,
really good.
yeah. I mean, I'm always speechless. I really am. I'm always speechless. That was an amazing discussion. I've been in ballroom for a long time, right? But I always learn something new about, what I mean, members in the community, particularly the women of trans experience. I know the previous discussion we did was specifically, what I mean, around the experiences of Black and Brown trans women in ballroom. There, I learned a whole lot. Here, I learned a whole lot. And I just hope that y'all took away from this discussion just as much as I took away from it. Right. I think some of the important themes that stood out for me was leadership, right? How she talked about leadership or icons, right? Need to step up their game. You know what I mean? I think she kept it real. She kept it 100, as most of us said. That was one of the things she said. She also said the girls need to be treated with respect. She feel like they're being pushed aside. You know what I'm saying? So how do we change that? You know what I mean? And then Tabitha, you too had said something that was really profound. I think it really tied everything together, right? I think her name was Monique in the comments had
Mhm.
mentioned about how you know we glorify the girls when they are in the scene or when they're on the floor and when they're entertaining. However, when they start going through stuff, right, and then unfortunately when they die, you know what I mean? They are almost disposable. You know what I'm saying? So that too, right? Obviously, she touched on, and it's very important. But Tabitha, like I was getting ready to say, you summed it all up, right? You said that where are we missing the mark, right? And I think that that's something that we should. That's a question that we all need to be left with, and we all need to ask ourselves that question, right? Um, Trans women of trans experience in ballroom have always been extremely important, right? But then also too, ballroom consists of a lot of other different groups, and I say that to say that that question is important for all of us, right? So again, she left. She dropped us with some really great gems. I just hope that y'all got out of it. You know what I mean? As much as I got out of it. I thank you all in the comments. I seen Abigail was in the comments, Angelica, the right, a couple of people, Marquise, Monique,
Yes. Tony
um,
Bryce. Like there was so many great people with so many great things that was said. For me, I think from
Bubs.
my experience has been one to inform, to heal, and to educate. I love ballroom. Ballroom is what grew me. Ballroom is the first place that I found community. The House of Revlon, has loved me, has hurt me, has talked about me, has done everything under the sun. But that's what we do, right? Because we are family. And how many of us fight with our families? How many of us fight with each other? How many of us talk about that auntie who drink too much and ask for money all the damn time? Let's stop shaming things and let's start healing together as a family, like we really are. We're not dysfunctional. We're not broken. We're fractured and we can heal. I love my house. I'm not leaving my house. I get upset. We talk about leaving, but that's ballroom too where people leave. But what I will say is that for the people under the sound of my voice, love on your members, elevate your women. Women, hold space for our brothers and our kings. Encourage them. And for those of you who are able, teach them how to treat you and others like us. So therefore we can feel, more important than just, performing for you and loving you. We have everything we need right here in our community. We have people who have their own nonprofits, people who have their own organizations, people who are therapists, doctors, all types of stuff. We can heal us, for us, by us, and it needs to start with us. So we can talk about that. We're going to continue to have more conversations with other ballroom figures to talk about how this looks and what can we do. Because as a service provider, I would like to make sure that when people from my community come for service, that they are receiving the service that we need. So I guess I said a mouthful. And my hair is all over the place. But just know that it was done by no other than motherfucking Charmaine, baby. She laid it. But, I'm about to get a little quirky because it's towards the end of the night. I've been working all day. But Tim, thank you. Thank you to all of you who saw fit to create this space for us to share space, to talk about things that we need as a community. It is so important. And everyone under the sound of my voice, whether you're transmasculine, transfeminine, cis, gay man, however, you're a part of Ballroom. I need you to know that you are loved, you are valued, and your life matters. Go ahead, Tim. You don't have nothing to say. There you go with this mute shit again.
I knew it was gonna happen. It was inevitable. But if you or anybody in ballroom, even not in ballroom, struggling with meth or any other substance use, feel free to reach out to us. We're on Facebook. We have a Facebook group. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. Our website, ballroomwecare.org. Reach out. We're here
And
to
if
help.
any of you are interested in you and your house members in the state of New York who wants to get a paid workshop that talks about things like safety, taking back your power, when substance control you, and all those things that we deal with on the day-to-day infrastructure for our families. If you're interested in this workshop, you have to be New York City based. This one is not gender specific. This track is specifically just for ballroom. And it's something that I'm definitely proud of. We have successfully, like the Labasias have completed a cycle, and it's open to your house as well. Reach out to me, reach out to Tim for other resources that you may need or your house members may need. And thank you for being here. Thank you for being under the sound of my voice.
All right. We'll see y'all again. Take care.